She leans in closer, her laughter cascading like music you didn't know you missed. Her eyes find yours with a warmth that makes the room fall silent. For a moment, you believe you've entered something rare, a connection untouched by time, untouched by doubt. Every gesture seems to confirm it. The way she touches your arm, as if the world itself urged her hand forward. The way her voice lowers when she speaks, as though secrets were meant only for you. It feels alive, real, undeniable. And then, without warning, it begins to shift. The messages take longer to arrive. The laughter that once came so easily now feels rehearsed. Her eyes drift, not away in anger, but away into distance, as though the intimacy you thought was growing has suddenly become a weight she cannot carry. You replay conversations in your mind. You scroll back through texts. You wonder if you said the wrong thing, if you revealed too much, if you failed to be enough. But the truth is more complex than blame. Many men mistake this pattern as a sign of disinterest, believing she has already chosen someone else, or that she never cared at all. But what if her sudden withdrawal is not about rejection, but about something deeper? What if intimacy itself, the very closeness you cherished, is what triggered her retreat? Psychologists call this the illusion of intimacy, the point where closeness feels so immediate, so powerful, that it awakens fear rather than comfort. Because intimacy, real intimacy, is not casual. It exposes the softest parts of us. And for her, those parts may carry memories of betrayal, of loss, of pain too heavy to let surface again. What you felt as warmth may have felt to her like danger. What you called closeness, she may have felt as exposure. The same gaze that pulled you in may have reminded her of the last time she trusted, and the last time she was hurt. This is the paradox of intimacy. The more real it becomes, the more frightening it feels. And so she withdraws, not because she doesn't care, but because she does. Because in her mind, the safest way to protect her heart is to create distance before she loses herself in closeness. But here lies the tension that traps so many men. When she pulls away, your instinct is to chase, to demand answers, to push for clarity, to restore what felt so perfect. Yet the more you push, the further she retreats. This is why so many connections collapse at the very moment they felt most alive. Not because the feeling wasn't real, but because reality came too quickly. So when you feel her warmth turning cold, resist the urge to panic. Understand instead that you are standing at the edge of her fear, not the edge of her love. And if you can see through the illusion, if you can remain steady in the silence she creates, you may discover that her distance is not the end, but the beginning of a deeper truth. She smiles, but this time it doesn't quite reach her eyes. There's hesitation in her touch, silence between her words, and you can feel it. The warmth is slipping, the closeness unraveling. And you wonder, why? Why would someone pull away from the very thing they seem to crave? Why would she retreat from intimacy when, just yesterday, she leaned into it with such fire? The answer often is fear. Not fear of you, but fear of what intimacy awakens inside her. Because closeness is dangerous. It asks her to take off the armor she's worn for years. It asks her to trust that you will not wound her in the same way others have. And for many women, that is not a small request. Think back, each of us carries scars from the past. For her, those scars may come from childhood wounds, moments when love felt conditional, when affection was withheld, when safety was broken. Or they may come from betrayal, the lover who lied, the friend who vanished, the bond that was broken just when she believed it would last. So when she begins to feel something real with you, those memories stir. Her heart whispers, "This feels familiar, and last time it ended in pain." Her mind warns, "If you let him in, he will eventually leave, just like the others." And suddenly the laughter fades, the texts slow down, the warmth turns cold. Not because she stopped caring, but because caring makes her vulnerable. And vulnerability, to her, feels like stepping back into the fire. You see, distance is not always rejection. Sometimes it is protection. A shield she raises, not because she wants to keep you out, but because she is terrified of losing herself if she lets you all the way in. This is the paradox. The closer you get to her heart, the more she fears you will break it. The more she wants connection, the more dangerous that connection feels. And so she retreats. She chooses silence over expression, withdrawal over risk, distance over intimacy. If you misunderstand this, you might respond with anger or desperation. You might accuse her of playing games, of leading you on, of never caring at all. But the truth is softer, more complicated. Her distance may be the very proof that she feels something. Because if she didn't, there would be no fear. The question then is not, why is she pulling away? The question is, can you hold steady in the storm of her fear? Because if you can, if you do not chase, do not pressure, do not collapse into your own insecurity, you give her something rare. You show her that intimacy does not have to mean pain. That closeness can exist without control. That vulnerability can be safe. And in that safety, she may return. Not because you demanded it, but because you showed her that fear does not have to win. She was warm, then she was cold. And now she seems to hover in between, present but not fully, engaged but guarded. It feels intentional, as if she's pulling back, not by accident but by choice. And maybe she is. Because for some women, distance isn't just fear, it's a test. Not the kind spoken out loud, not a challenge she announces, but a subconscious strategy, one her mind deploys without her even realizing it. She wants to know, who are you really? You see, it's easy to appear strong when things are smooth. It's easy to be charming when she laughs at your jokes, when she texts you first, when affection flows effortlessly. But what happens when the current shifts? Do you grow restless? Do you demand answers? Do you become needy, insecure, controlling? Or do you stay grounded, calm, steady, unshaken? Her distance reveals you. Because when she pulls back, she's not just pulling away from you. She's pulling away to see you. Here's the paradox. Her retreat is not always a rejection. Sometimes it is an invitation. An invitation to show her that your sense of worth does not collapse when hers wavers. That your confidence is not dependent on her constant reassurance. That you can hold your center even when she creates space. Many men fail this test. They chase, they beg, they spiral into doubt. Their messages double, their energy tightens, their fear becomes visible. And in that moment, she sees what she needed to see. That his strength was only an illusion, a mask that dissolved the second intimacy became uncertain. But the man who remains steady, who does not confuse her silence with abandonment, who does not grasp tighter when she loosens her grip, that man communicates something powerful without saying a word. He shows her that he is not desperate for validation. He shows her that his world does not collapse if she takes a step back. He shows her that his presence is not dependent on her approval. And to a woman's subconscious mind, this is magnetic. Because whether she knows it or not, she is seeking a partner who can withstand her storms, not just her sunshine. So when she pulls away, recognize the test. See it for what it is, an unspoken question. Not do you love me, but are you strong enough to hold yourself, even when I waver? If you answer with panic, the connection weakens. If you answer with steadiness, the connection deepens. Because at the heart of this test lies something universal. A woman wants to know that if she lets go, even for a moment, you won't collapse. And if you can show her that truth, her distance will not remain distance. It will become respect. And from respect, intimacy can grow stronger than before. She looks at you, and you see the hesitation in her eyes. Not because she doesn't care, but because she isn't sure she deserves what she feels. This is the hidden weight many women carry, the quiet, unspoken fear that they are not enough. Not beautiful enough. Not interesting enough. Not worthy enough of love that lasts. And when that insecurity rises, it doesn't always appear as tears or confession. Often, it appears as distance. Because if she convinces herself that you will eventually leave, she may try to leave first. If she believes your affection is temporary, she may retreat before the pain of loss can arrive. This is the paradox of insecurity. The very thing she craves most, closeness, connection, love, is the very thing she runs from. Not because she doesn't want it, but because she cannot bear the thought of losing it once it feels real. Imagine this: she opens herself to you, she lets her guard down, she lets hope bloom again. For a moment, it feels safe. And then the thought strikes: what if he gets bored? What if he finds someone better? What if I'm not enough? Those thoughts become louder than your words. They drown out your reassurance. They twist every silence into rejection, every delay into abandonment. So instead of leaning closer, she pulls away. Not because she doesn't feel anything, but because she feels too much. Withdrawal becomes her shield. Her silence becomes her safety. Her distance becomes the only way she knows how to control a storm inside her heart. And here lies the cruel irony. She distances herself to avoid pain, yet the very act of pulling away creates the pain she fears most. You feel rejected, and she feels misunderstood. You see coldness, while she feels terror. This is why so many connections crumble, not from a lack of love, but from the heavy weight of insecurity. But here is the truth: her insecurity is not a sign of weakness. It is a reflection of the battles she has fought, the betrayals she has endured, the stories she has told herself about love and worth. And if you can see beyond the surface, if you can understand that her withdrawal is not rejection but protection, you unlock something powerful. Because when she realizes that you will not punish her for her fear, that you will not abandon her for her silence, that you can hold steady even when she retreats, her insecurity begins to loosen its grip. In that moment, closeness no longer feels like a threat. It begins to feel like home. So when she pulls away under the weight of insecurity, resist the urge to take it personally. Instead, recognize the paradox. She wants connection, but her fear of losing it pushes her back. And if you can hold space for that paradox, you may give her the one thing she's been searching for all along: the safety to stay. There are moments when her distance has nothing to do with you at all. Moments when her silence is not about fear, or insecurity, or even testing. Sometimes it's about independence. We live in a world that praises freedom. A world that teaches us to stand alone, to need no one, to prove our strength by walking without a hand to hold. And for her, this message runs deep. She has been told that to be independent is to be valuable, that to rely on someone is weakness, that to need closeness is to risk losing herself. So when she feels the pull of intimacy, the sweetness of connection, the gravity of closeness, something inside her resists. Not because she doesn't want it, but because she fears it will erase her. Her distance, then, becomes a mirror reflecting the battle inside her, the part of her that longs to belong and the part of her that demands freedom. You may notice it in subtle ways. The sudden need for space after a night of closeness. The insistence that she is fine on her own. The declaration that she doesn't need anyone, even when her actions reveal she wants you. This isn't hypocrisy. It's tension. The tension between her desire for love and her belief that independence defines her worth. And here lies the paradox. Society celebrates independence, yet often it's just another mask, a way to avoid commitment, a shield to avoid surrendering to the vulnerability of true intimacy. So when she pulls away, she may not be rejecting you at all. She may be proving to herself that she still belongs to no one, that she is still her own person, untouched, unclaimed, free. For many women, this retreat is not about love failing, but about identity being tested. If I let him in too much, will I lose myself? If I lean on him, will I forget who I am without him? And so she steps back. Not to end things, but to remind herself that she is whole on her own. The danger, of course, is that her withdrawal can be misread. You might see distance as rejection, when in truth, it is self-preservation. She isn't saying, I don't want you. She's saying, I need to know I still want myself. The question is, how do you respond? If you panic, you reinforce her fear. If you smother, you confirm her need to run. But if you remain calm, if you allow her space without punishment, if you respect her independence while still standing steady in your presence, you offer her something rare. You show her that intimacy does not mean losing herself, that she can be independent and connected, free yet loved. And in that realization, her distance begins to soften. Not because she stopped needing freedom, but because she finally discovered she doesn't have to choose between freedom and you. She withdraws. The calls slow. The texts shorten. The space between you feels wider with each passing day. At first, you might believe she's fatting, that her feelings are dissolving, that she's already halfway out the door. But what if her silence means something else? What if her distance is not a rejection, but a question? Because sometimes, pulling away is not about ending the connection. It's about testing its depth. She wants to know, will you notice? Will you care? Will you move toward her, or will you let her drift away without a fight? This is the hidden desire behind her withdrawal. A desire for proof. Not the proof of words spoken in comfort, but the proof of actions taken in uncertainty. You see, closeness can create its own hunger. The more she feels for you, the more she wants to know the feeling is real, not imagined, not fragile, not temporary. And the only way to know is to step back and watch what you do. This is the paradox. Her distance may, in truth, be a cry for closeness. Her silence may be her way of asking, do I matter enough for you to reach across the silence? Her retreat may be her hope that you will follow, not with desperation, but with intention. It's important to understand, this is not a game. She is not trying to manipulate. Often, she doesn't even realize she is doing it. It is her subconscious reaching for reassurance in the only way it knows how. Because words can lie. Affection can fade. But how you respond to her distance, that reveals everything. If you ignore it completely, she may feel invisible. If you chase frantically, she may feel overwhelmed. But if you approach with calm persistence, if you reach out not to control, but to connect, you send the message she longs to hear. I see you. I choose you. Even in silence, even in distance, you still matter. And that proof can heal something deep inside her. It can reassure her that closeness does not always collapse. That love does not always vanish when tested. That she is not asking too much by wanting to feel secure in your presence. The hidden desire, then, is not distance itself. It is depth. The desire to know that this connection can endure uncertainty. That when she pulls back, you won't walk away. That when she hides, you won't forget. So when she retreats, ask yourself, will you take it at face value, or will you see the longing beneath it? Because often, her silence is not the end. It is an invitation. An invitation to prove that what you share is not shallow, not fragile, but real. And when you answer that invitation with presence, instead of panic, you give her the depth she was searching for all along. She pulls away. The warmth cools. The closeness you once felt now feels like it's slipping through your fingers. And in this moment, you stand at a crossroads. You can chase blindly. You can let panic take over. You can send message after message, call after call, trying to drag her back into your orbit. But that path, though tempting, rarely works. Because desperation does not inspire closeness, it suffocates it. Or you can choose differently. You can step back. Breathe. Understand that her distance may not be rejection, but reflection. It may be fear, insecurity, or even her way of testing the depth of what you share. When you respond with calm strength, you change everything. You show that you are not fragile, that you are not dependent on constant reassurance, that you can hold steady even in uncertainty. And paradoxically, it is this steadiness that draws her back. Because strength creates safety. And safety is the foundation of intimacy. This is the choice before you. Not between chasing or abandoning, but between fear and wisdom. Between reacting to the surface or understanding the depth. A woman who pulls away is not always leaving. Sometimes she is waiting. Waiting to see if you will stay grounded. Waiting to see if your presence is strong enough to withstand silence. Waiting to see if your love is more than impulse. And so, the real question is not about her. It is about you. When distance appears, who will you be? The man who collapses into panic? Or the man who stands steady, knowing that what is real will return? Because true intimacy is not fragile. It does not break at the first sign of space. It bends, it breathes, it allows for distance, and then it comes back stronger. Think of it like the ocean. The tide recedes, but it always returns. Love, when it is real, is the same. It can pull back for a time, but the return carries with it depth, clarity, and strength. So do not fear the silence. Do not fight the distance as though it is the end. See it for what it is, a test, a reflection, an opportunity. An opportunity to show that you do not need to cling, because you already know your worth. An opportunity to show that intimacy is not destroyed by space, it is refined by it. In the end, the choice is always yours. Chase blindly or walk wisely. Collapse in panic or stand in presence. Remember this, what is shallow disappears when tested. But what is real survives. And not only survives, it returns stronger. That is the secret most men never learn. And that is the choice now laid before you.